Hey guys, All in Crypto here, and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, on this fabulous Friday for another YouTube video. This is going to be our daily cryptocurrency market update, and something just does not feel right, guys. I'm going to say that from the start. This is going to be quite technical, this update. Bitcoin's been showing, I think, an unwarranted amount of strength over the past couple of days. Yesterday was actually, I think we were up 5% for Bitcoin on a 24-hour, and I don't think that it should have been doing that. Now, that sounds crazy because it did it. What I think is irrelevant in terms of what the markets are going to do or not going to do. At the end of the day, we're a market observer and speculator rather than driver. You know, I have no impact over the price whatsoever. So even if I think the price should be going down and it's not, that's because the market does not give two hoots about what I think. But something just doesn't feel right to me. We had extremely bearish news from the Federal Reserve, and markets saw some sort of relief on this. Why was that? Well, that's because markets are forward-looking. That news was expected. People would have positioned into it. Once the news has happened and we saw the extremely volatile, I was trading that to no success. Didn't take any major losses. But we saw this hugely volatile day. And we saw actually a rally on the back end of it. And then we've seen an extended rally for a period of time. And it doesn't feel warranted. It doesn't feel like it should be doing that. Certainly given what the news that we got was. Look at the dollar. Now, the dollar's coming into a very, very significant area. You know, is it going to take out your 2002 highs? You're going to get resistance here. But the dollar for now is rocketing. Look at the FTSE today, guys. FTSE's down 2.4%. Your futures market, the Nasdaq 100, is down 0.62%. The Nasdaq 100 E-minis futures down 1.4%. And the S&P futures is down significantly. All the markets are down and the dollar is absolutely ripping, yet Bitcoin is showing strength. Well, why is it doing this is what I'm asking myself. And the only reason that I can come up with why it's doing this is technical, because of the price that it's at and the support that it is providing. This is a significant level that we have said when we were back here on the last pump that we had. We said, you're going to get short squeeze here because people are too short and they're short in right of resistance. But we've rallied and we're now back at it, weighing very, very heavily. In my opinion, it is a very short period of time until this level gives way. We're going to find out soon enough. You're either going to have a very explosive move to the upside, which I think is, if I was to base that on probabilities out of 100, I would give it maybe a 5% chance of happening. You can't rule it out completely, but I think it's, looking at this, it doesn't feel right, the strength that we've seen. It feels like, you know, it's a technical reason why we've seen this strength, and it's a matter of time before we get that next roll for the cryptocurrency market. That's what I'm here to tell you today, guys. Do not take this as financial advice. Make your own opinions up, but I'm going to tell you why. We've been very bearish on the crypto space since 44K for Bitcoin, and the reasons being is because we understand the situation. The news that we got from the Federal Reserve was that they're going to continue to do this. They're going to do it a lot more aggressive. We went from pricing interest rates to 3% at the end of the year to now 4%, and looking into next year at 4.6%. The knock-on effect of that is catastrophic, and it drains and sucks liquidity out of markets into the dollar because people need more dollars. Go and look at your how much taking out a mortgage before the interest rate would cost you over repayment and how much it's now going to cost. People are going to need more dollars, more pounds, more euros, more Canadian dollars, more Australian dollars to pay their mortgages as everything's going up. It takes out liquidity. That means less money just from that one aspect, and there's many other aspects similar to that which involve people needing more dollars that are going to take more place, or currency. Also, from a retail point of view, everyone's broke because of inflation. You know, I am noticing, I'm going to the supermarket and I'm just thinking, like, for me, it's not really something I pay that much attention to, but even I'm thinking, things seem to be getting pretty expensive. So, you know, I just don't know what's quite happening here. We are going to get into a bit of news. This is the euro dollars. I don't know what to take from this. We looked at the bond yield curve yesterday, but the euro dollars has had its spill, but Bitcoin hasn't yet. Okay, so one thing that I can kind of take is euro dollars obviously in blue. This is a way you can sort of price interest rate hikes in for the US. And you can see that usually it will spill and then just before Bitcoin does, and then Bitcoin will follow. We've had that spill on the euro dollars, but Bitcoin hasn't seen the prior spills that we've seen to date. So it's kind of making me think, that doesn't feel right. The dollar is absolutely ripping. I won't show you the dollar on this. I'll show you the dollar on the candle chart. The dollar is absolutely ripping, and Bitcoin really hasn't sold off in a similar manner. In fact, can we just overlay Bitcoin? See, Bitcoin hasn't. Okay, yeah, we've had this big run, but since this big run, Bitcoin's not really done anything. It's just consolidated. It's not actually gone down, and it's consolidating, in my opinion, for that next leg lower. We're going to look at Bitcoin technically because there are reasons why it's holding where it's holding. Just look at the FTSE today, guys. Probably going to get a bid here. I'd be surprised if you didn't get some sort of a bid here, actually, because this has been a good area of support. But if this goes straight through, you don't know. Also, gold. Look at gold. Why isn't Bitcoin following in the similar kind of manner? Can you see how gold's had that spill? Bitcoin has just been consolidating. So this video is really about me saying, look, something doesn't feel right to me whatsoever in terms of Bitcoin showing this kind of strength. And the only reason I can attribute to why it's still holding this 18K level, 19, 18K level sort of range, is simply because it's technical support. That's it for me. I don't have any sort of, macro reasons why I think that, this is a bottom. We will talk about bottoms because, again, people love to still throw up on-chain analytics. Will Clement is absolutely fantastic at what he does. Somebody I personally listen to. Bitcoin still hasn't experienced capitulation yet. And he's got that in quotes, as in that's what people are saying. We're in one of the deepest periods of realized losses ever, but okay. Now, I actually rebutted this and essentially said, okay, well, what you're doing is you're comparing Bitcoin historically, and this is, if you look at your on-chain metrics, they've all been destroyed in terms of, trying to accurately, started with Plan B, and then you had the likes of Willy Woo stopping his newsletter. All on-chain analytics have kind of gone out the window in terms of trying to be a forecast for the future, because we have never had to go through this environment. This is the NASDAQ. This is the Brave New Liquid Coin Index, one of the furthest back charts we have for Bitcoin. You can see that markets have literally just gone up. And yes, we've seen these big areas of capitulation and realized losses, net realized P&L losses, but they've been in periods, the prior ones, even though this is one of the longest, not the longest, where markets have generally just been going up and the Fed has had your back. Fed do not have your back now. They are willing to let you fall over. And this is why it seems very strange to me, and sometimes markets take a little bit of time to sort of catch up, that we'd be getting this kind of strength that we are seeing. It's not heroic strength for anything along those lines, but it is still strength that I don't think is warranted. And that makes me think, I think we're just stalling. We're on a cliff edge, in my opinion, for that next leg low. There's just so much going on. I mean, we had this news the other day, talking about Putin talking about a nuclear threat, that he's not afraid to use nuclear weapons, and that they're sort of mobilizing some of the military. That I think is bad news. I don't know if this is going to be the catalyst for the yield curve inversion and the subsequent sell-off that we have as a result of it, or what is going to be. But there's a million and one things it could be at the moment. Talking about Italy, and how they have now chose somebody. It's a strange time that we're in, and Bitcoin to be showing strength with this kind of a negative downstream, not just from a fundamental aspect, from a technical point of view, from all angles, just feels weird to me. British pound plunges below 1.11 after new government announces economic reform. I wouldn't be surprised if the pound goes to 1-to-1 with the dollar, to parity. We're out of pounds. We are all dollars, and we've been all dollars for a long time, well before the dollar was even above 1 or 100. Sorry. And the dollar could keep running. It's going to find that resistance in the area that we've set out for it. But to me, something just does not feel right whatsoever about this strength that we're seeing. And the reason I can attribute to this being an area where we've seen this move to the upside is very just simply because of it's not only support here, it's also historical support. If we go back and we look at, why did we bounce on this level to begin with? Well, we had a period of consolidation, a wind up, and a validation or a valid area of price action that we bounced perfectly off of. And we've found this and held this, and we're here today as support. When this falls, how many stops do you think are going to get hit? I don't want to scare anybody with this video, and that's not the case. You know, we think crypto is going to do very, very well in the long term. We believe in it as a technological revolution. However, short term, this is the situation. This is what I'm looking at. And I think you are going to get that roll very soon. Because to me, it's been stalling. Maybe your other markets quickly turn around, and markets can do that on a penny's edge. But, you know, I don't think that's likely. I don't see a huge rally coming here. You've shown, how many people call bottoms here and then were sat all smug this whole time? Whilst people were commenting in the comment section saying, you don't know what you're talking about. Oh, we should have just done the adverse of you. You're back here now, and you actually put in and have put in a new daily close. Have you put in a new weekly close, actually? Yes. No, you haven't yet, but it's looking likely. This is the pattern that we're looking at. We're looking at this head and shoulders. We've spoken about it a number of times. We do think that this is going to spill. And this is going to take you to sub 15K, 14K, potentially a little bit under, depending on how the head and shoulders plays out. They don't have to play out perfectly to target. But this is what we're looking at, guys. Left shoulder, head, very, very skittish, volatile right shoulder. So I'd have liked to have not seen this come as high as it did. We didn't expect it to get this far. We expected to at least get into this range of consolidation. But it exceeded that. And now you've had a almost more severe slam down, a new low made on the daily. This looks likely to play out. You put your foot below the neckline. You've come back. You've retested it. You're currently holding it. You spill this and start doing something like this. You've just kicked the first domino over. What we're looking at, guys, it doesn't feel right. There's something about this. I even sat out of yesterday's market just simply because I didn't want to trade it, because it didn't make a lot of sense to me. It felt very skittish to take the long because of the sort of overweighing ominous that we have around us. But it also didn't feel right taking the short because it just didn't make sense yesterday. And Bitcoin, in my opinion, should be a lot lower than 2.4% down today. You know, the FTSE is down more than Bitcoin today. And the dollar is killing it. Maybe there's a delayed response here. Maybe there's a delayed reaction. Just because the dollar's going up doesn't mean that Bitcoin has to instantly spill, by the way. Or has to spill at all. It's just that the correlation is there thus far. That is really all I've got for you guys. Stay safe out there. It's going to be interesting to see what the US market opens like. It's looking like it's not going to open too positively. It's not uncommon that we get a rally off of the FOMC and then we kind of go into, you know, a realization phase after of what they said means. But we will see. But just a word of warning. And also XRP is pumping, just as a quick one. Whenever XRP pumps, that's usually the sign of a very bad omen. And I wish XRP holders all the best. I've been holding XRP and still even to this day hold a small amount of XRP since 2018. Bought a lot in 2019. It underperformed the entire market. Now, that has a lot to do with the lawsuit, I think. But whenever you get these kind of extreme rallies off for XRP, kind of isn't a good sign, in my opinion. So we will see how today plays out. We'll see how the weekend plays out. Remember, we have also spoken about the possibility of a double peak. You had your one peak. Maybe you get this double peak. And then that is what takes us to the downside. But right now, I think you have every reason to spill, and you're not. And it doesn't make a great deal of sense. It doesn't need to make sense. Again, markets don't give two hoots about what I think. However, it does feel like that next leg lower is imminent. Could be totally wrong. Don't take this as financial advice. Don't listen to bottom callers because it's not that, in my opinion. I think we still have to get to a point when people have to choose between paying their bills and holding their Bitcoin. I don't think we're there yet. And that is dependent on if the situation continues that we're in. If it changes, if there's some sort of a pivot and they start printing money again, okay, well, we know what markets are going to do. They continue to start devaluing the dollar and printing loads of it. It's natural that Bitcoin's going to go up in adversary of it. But that isn't the environment right now. Remember, it's all about liquidity. The whole game is about liquidity. Markets full stop are about liquidity. M1 money supply, Bitcoin. M1 money supply, NASDAQ. M1 money supply, gold. What else can we do? M1 money supply, nat gas. Or sorry, this is crude oil. This is Wheaton, which is a silver mining stock, and natural gas. All about liquidity, guys. Right now, we know that liquidity is not only getting taken off the table, but is going to continue to do so, not just from the US, from governments around the world, and at a kind of unprecedented for Bitcoin level. All I've got for you in this video, guys. If you enjoy the content, like it, I'd appreciate it. So, as a comment, if you want to join my Patreon, there's a link in the description. See you all in the next YouTube video. Thanks a lot for watching.